Bonsoir tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien. For those of you who do not speak freedom fries, that's of course French for hello, good evening, and I hope you're doing well. I figure that many of you are probably watching My Vivid Life, who has the intentional millionaire on her show right now, which is absolutely fantastic. So I hope to catch most of you on the replay. So tonight we're going to continue our conversation about Cowboy Bebop. Okay. Now I know in the title it says from the 12th episode to the end, but I'm going to change it. What I'm going to do is I will talk from episode 12 to episode 20, and then the last few episodes, as well as the live action series that's on Netflix. I'll talk about it not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday afterwards. So don't worry if you guys missed this live, it will be up for you guys to watch later on. So basically, uh, we'll continue with our conversation. Now, for those of you that don't know, Cowboy Bebop is an anime. I believe it was at first a a book before, a manga, but I'll look that up now just to be 1,000% sure. But basically, right now there's only one season of it on Netflix. Okay, and like I said, they do have um, the live action series that's on Netflix at the moment. Okay. So I'm just checking out, of course, Wikipedia. Basically, this anime came out quite a few years earlier. It's not a recent production. It originally came out in 1998. Basically, it's set basically in the future, essentially. Okay. It's set in 2078, where the Earth is not that it's no longer inhabitable, but it's no longer the world that we know as we are. So a lot of what we're accustomed to and know about the Earth is gone. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Is sort of the next eight episodes where they go in and into a little bit about the what happened in each character. So to summarize a little bit of the show. Hey Wally, how you doing? Glad to see you here. So to summarize a little bit of what we've seen so far in the first 20 episodes, essentially you have five characters, I guess you could say. One of them is literally a dog, but it's a dog of high intelligence. Okay, but the main character is Spike. Okay, and in the next in episodes 12 through 20, you get a sense that he was part of a underground society where he really did some horrible things, and he went out with the girlfriend of one of the other bad guys and tried to escape, and you kind of see the consequences of that, and how and her name is Julia, and how he tried to help her get out of it as well, but that did not work. So now his some of his side quests are also revealing of that storyline, and really him trying to reconnect with his long lost love. Okay. Now the other characters are also there to not only help him in his goal, but are also have their own backstories as well. Okay, so let me get to this part here. 1 second, guys. If I can find what I'm looking for. Yeah, right here. Okay. So obviously the other characters include Jet, who's like I said in the first episode of the series that I was talking about, is what's called an ISSP officer. ISSP is essentially um, the internet. It's like Interpol essentially. So the International Police. So the acronym stands for Intersolar System Police. So basically, they're the cops of our galaxy, essentially, because Earth is no longer habitable like it used to be. Humans beings were forced to colonize other planets, okay, in the solar system. All right. Now, what also has occurred is that bounty hunting is legalized throughout the galaxy. So now Jet and his companion Spike are, of course, bounty hunters. So that's why they come with the name of Cowboy Bebop, because uh, cowboys are nicknames for the bounty hunters, and Bebop is the name of the ship that Spike and Jet operate. Okay, Jet is the captain of the ship. He's, like I said, the former police officer, and Jet is his crew member that does most of the quote unquote actual bounty hunter. But they come into contact with three other crewmates that they take aboard. They take aboard first and foremost Ein, or short, which is short for Einstein, and that's the smart dog. That was on their very first mission. Um, on the first mission, they tried to go after a bounty hunter that stole a dog from a scientific research lab. Now, there's not a whole lot of details as to what exactly was going on, and how this dog is super intelligent. But in one of the recent episodes, you see that the dog can communicate with other animals. You see him literally talking to a cow through telepathy. So obviously, there is a certain amount of revelations, but not a whole lot. Hey, Lashes Journey, I'm glad to see you here. I hope you had a good nap. But if you need to sit back and have me on the background, I'm absolutely fine with that as well. Hey, Patrice, thank you for being here. Hope you guys stay for a little bit. I know that My Vivid Life has a live going on right now, so I understand completely if you guys have me open up on a second tab and on mute. Don't worry. You guys can catch me on the replay. No worries. All right. But thank you for being here and stopping by. Either way, I'm glad for any support that you guys can give me, whether it's participating or just like I said, having me on a second tab, playing in the background. I'm absolutely fine. I know you guys are busy and have other things to do other than listening to me blabbering away about movies that you may not necessarily be interested in. All right, so yeah. So to get back into it, of course, there's not a whole lot of detail about Ein, but like I said, you get a sense that this animal is a lot more capable than what it seems to be. The two other characters that they encounter is Faye, who's a con artist. Now, in some of the episodes between 12 and 20, you get a lot more backstory about her. At first, she came out and said, "Oh, I'm a wandering traveler. I'm Romney. Romney is those the travelers that go from one state to another, etc." But it comes out that she actually was frozen um, in cryogenic sleep for 54 years. So, in one of the episodes I watched recently, you see her coming out of the sleep, and of course, not believing that she's now literally in the future. But it's revealed that she has no idea who she really is and what her past is like. And not only does she not know, but neither do the scientists know who she really is. All the records of her life are gone. Okay. And that was due to the blast that destroyed Earth as we know it. So, of course, one of her backstories that she goes through is trying to figure out who she is, right? And that storyline comes out from the fact that she runs into a man that allegedly passed away or was canceled, trying to help her escape. Because basically, what happened when she was unfrozen, the medical center saddled her with a large amount of debt. And this lawyer, trying to help her escape, pretended to be in this major car accident in which he canceled. She, of course, was, at this time she had fallen in love with him because they had a whole life together and they, built several wonderful moments together. But then she unfortunately got saddled with his debt when he passed away. Okay, there was this agreement that when you scan your thumb, you inherit everything that this person had. Okay, he left everything to her, so she scanned her thumb and agreed to take on everything, which was nothing but debt. So she wasn't very happy about that. But that also explains a lot of her behaviors, because she was always trying to escape from bounty hunters. Because if you guys remember in the first episode of Cowboy Bebop that I had up, she was one of their bounties. Okay. So she has a very large debt on her head, and lots of bounty hunters are going after her. So she's basically working with this team to quote unquote work off her debt, but she never really does. And then, of course, the last character I'm trying to find is, oh yeah, Edward, who is an insect, as it's described in Wikipedia, an eccentric girl skilled in hacking. Okay, so they found her again, one of their ventures on Earth when they were again trying to find one of their bounties, which turned out to be a satellite that was basically lonely and was, carving those, those Mayan designs that you can only see from Upper Earth. It had carved that because it was basically lonely and trying to communicate and trying to quote unquote decorate the planet, right? So that's what I liked about the first few episodes, is that they always are trying to make a financial means. They're trying to make a living, and it always seemed to mess up. Now, of course, in some of the later episodes, they do make a few dollars, but they seem to get themselves in a lot more trouble uh, than the solutions. Now, the syndicate that I mentioned briefly, that trouble, was the Red Dragon Syndicate. Spike was part of that once with one of his friends, and including his, not really his girlfriend, but one of his friends' girlfriend. Vicious is the friend, and Julia was the girlfriend. Okay, so basically, him and Julia had an affair behind Vicious's back and got caught. Now, Julia ended up disappearing, and Vicious is, of course, going after Spike, and Spike is really trying to find what happened to Julia. Where is she? What happened? Is she dead? Is she alive? Etc. So you see a lot in those episodes, a lot of those hints of what could have happened. And of course, part of it too is that Vicious is using the name of Julia to for a lot of his missions. Hello, Natasha. Hello, Before the Billions. Thank you guys for stopping by and for participating in my little chat about Cowboy Bebop. Now, for those of you that came in a little bit late, I'm going to change the title a little bit later. I won't talk about the full. I think I did episode 12. Technically, I think it's 12 to 26. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about 12 to 20. And then the last 6 episodes, I'll talk about it, not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. I will also talk about the live action anime, not anime, but the live action movie about the anime that they have on Netflix Canada. I'm pretty sure it's also on Netflix USA, but you guys will have to confirm, with those of you who are in the US, whether or not Cowboy Bebop is part of Netflix. I believe it is. Okay. So, basically, okay, we're gonna go through this a little bit, episode by episode, because I know in the first episode I did on Cowboy Bebop, I kind of just talked about it a little bit randomly, but tonight we'll go through it a little bit chapter by chapter, essentially. Now, chapter 12 and 13 are basically one episode in divided into two. It's called Jupiter Jazz, part one and two. Okay. And this one is really much more about Faye. Okay. So that's the girl that, um, doesn't remember who she is and is now trying to uh, figure out who she is and what her backstory is. So this is that episode where she discovers that she came out of a coma from a cryogenic sleep. The doctors gave her this, completely fictitious story, completely fictitious background. Um, and they even got an actor to play her lawyer to kind of cozy up to her and sort of trick her into believing that she had this story of, I believe they were pretending that she was had some kind of an accident when she was young, and they put her into the sleep um, until the doctors had the medical devices to heal her, which they say they did heal her, but the whole backstory for being in an accident was complete nonsense and utter fiction. And in fact, in the sequel, the part two, it's found out that the lawyer that was trying to cozy up to her, that tried to protect her and uh, help her outrun the law, because when they woke her up, they saddled her with a very large debt. Okay, so she had no means of paying it, no job, no inheritance or anything. The lawyer, uh, faked his death, then saddled her with more debt, his debt. So of course she's been running from the law ever since, trying to figure out a way of how do I take care of this debt. Later on in one of the episodes, they do meet up again, and that's when she finds out that okay, not only is the backstory fake, but so was this guy's death. He's not really a lawyer, etc., etc. All right. So episode 14 is the Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, and this one is where they find out they get a chess piece. All the three main characters get a chess piece, and they find out in that episode that it comes from this gentleman that's an elderly gentleman. He's now in his 90s, but basically in the show they have sort of like in if you guys watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they have this device that allows them to use wormholes in order to travel from one part of the universe to the other part of the universe. So they have that kind of transportation system, and the machinery that utilizes that natural occurrence, right, was built by this particular gentleman. But this gentleman saw that, oh wait a minute, there's radical flaws here in the device that I created. Don't build it. But what did the company do? They of course fired him and built it anyway. So 50 years into the future, he hacked their system and stole a whole bunch of money. And of course, Spike and crew find this old guy, and basically he's has dementia, something going on where he has mental loss. It's just not working upstairs at all. However, he's still a very good chess player, and that's how they discovered where he was and who he was, because uh, Edward was playing chess with him. Okay, so that also shows the intelligence that Edward has, because this other character was a high level player. Okay, he wasn't just anybody. Episode 15. I'm going through it fairly quickly. And yes, of course, spoiler alerts, guys. So if you haven't watched the show, then well, spoilers. Sorry. But if you guys seen this episode, you guys know I talk about movies and that there will be spoiler alerts. Okay. So, of course, in episode 15 is My Funny Valentine, where again we talk a little bit about Valentine's or phase background and go more in depth into that one. That's I don't know. I'm not big on her as a character. You kind of get this. It feels like they're trying to create fake sympathy for her, or poor girl, which doesn't remember who she is. It kind of feels a very like fake to me. Doesn't feel like there's a natural like progression of her, and it's like I guess like I get it that like they're trying to make her like, oh, she has amnesia and she's trying to discover herself, but like it's fairly rare that you have a character that's like quote unquote permanently has amnesia. um, for those of you that don't know, amnesia, yes, it can take a few weeks or a few months even, but it's pretty rare to last a person's entire life, or for several years. So it's just annoying that they have this quote unquote fake, I don't know, like this fake plot line of her going through all this. You like would have thought that okay, by now she would have gained some memories of her past. Episode 16 is called A Black Dog Serenade. Okay, so in this episode, you get more of a background of Jet. Okay, now Jet is, like I said, the captain of the Bebop. Okay, now the important thing to know about him is he actually lost part of his left arm. Hey, Kareen, how you doing? Thank you for being here with me tonight. So in this particular episode, they go into how he lost that arm. Comes to find out when he was working with the ISSP, okay, his partner actually uh, got him set up um, with the Red Dragon, okay, syndicate. Okay, so the Red Dragon syndicate, those are the people that do all the illegal things. So they're the future mafia, essentially. Okay, um, so his partner got him in trouble with them and set him up. Okay, so, and it was his partner in the ISSP that actually shot him in a way that he lost most of his left arm and had to get a mechanical or robotic arm. Okay, so of course, Jet goes after his partner when he discovers this and ends up canceling his partner. But his partner knew that this was going to happen and really didn't give him much of a fight. He gave a quote unquote pretend fight of this because he knew it was deserved and that it was going to happen regardless. Episode 17 is called the Mushroom Samba. Of course, for those of you that don't know the wonders of certain shrooms, this is basically this episode is where they run out of food, they run out of gas, they seem to be in a very dire position, and basically end up being forced to crash because a vessel crashed into them onto a planet. Okay. And on this planet, they end up with, of course, magic mushrooms and end up tripping balls. Of course, we all know some. Well, all of us, some of us. Let's put it that way. Some of us who know about the joys of certain mushrooms, and some are perfectly fine to have in your hamburgers. Some you may not want to eat, at least not in your food. So yeah, so this episode was more cute and quirky and all that, and really just more funny. There's no, uh, they do go after a particular bounty, but it never really gets resolved in this particular episode. And then episode 18 is Speak Like a Child. And this one again is more Faye centric, where you see her gambling because again, her it's a lot about quick money to pay off her debt as quickly as possible. But you get a little bit more of her backstory because here is uh, she receives two packages, one of them with the beta VHS tapes, and the second package is a beta VCR. Okay, so that's when you see her as a child in the beta tapes, and she kind of realizes that, oh wait, that's me, that's my past. So they're trying to give her a backstory, but it just feels so manufactured. It doesn't feel like this would naturally be something that would happen, right? Episode 19 is simply called Wild Horses. So this one, you see Jet and Faye fight pirates. Okay, so pirates do exist in this space cowboy world. It's really crazy. And of course, pirates do what pirates are going to do, and it's of course to RRR, plunder and steal gold and all that stuff, right? So this is just a classic, getting pirates involved, getting cowboys involved, getting all of that involved all into one, where you have these three different worlds that you would not think you would ever see together, right? Space travel, cowboys, and pirates. Definitely not something that you would think would be together, but it is. And of course, we're going to end tonight's episode on Pierrot le Fou, which is episode 20. Pierrot le Fou is, of course, French for um, Peter the crazy person. And you see here, Spike goes into this, I guess, Universal Studios to sort of connect it to Lash's journey into Universal Studios. But in this episode, Spike witnessed a murder, and of course, I sorry, he witnessed a cancellation, and of course, the people that committed the cancellation go after him because, of course, they don't want him to be blabbing around of what happened. Okay. So the next time I talk about movies will be on Saturday. Now I'm sorry, guys, I have to move things around the past few days, but next Saturday, that's going to come up. I do have another live stream. Hello, Princess C. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Big Time Drum, for being here as well. Well, I'll need a few more French fries than McDonald's, but yeah, I think you know that already. But so yeah, so this Saturday, I'm gonna start talking about different movie, but the Saturday after, I will come back to Cowboy Bebop to talk about the last 5 episodes, so episodes 21 through 26, or the last 6 episodes, and to talk about the live action movie that they have on sorry, the live action series that they have on Netflix. So I'm going to go into a little bit about the author himself of Cowboy Bebop. Okay. Now, it was originally published, and I'm going to mess this name up because it is Japanese. So, to all my Japanese listeners, please forgive me for butchering this, but it was published by Kadokawa Shoten. Sorry again if I completely butchered it. I don't speak Japanese whatsoever, but I am willing to at least try to say it. And it was created by Hajime Yatate. Hajime Yatate. Again, I'm probably butchering that completely. Please forgive me to all those that are fluent Japanese speakers. Hopefully, somebody will correct me in a polite way. Um, but yeah, it was first came out in 1998, so this is a fairly old show or series that came out. It's described as a neo noir space western kind of a show. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more of the creator. Okay. Now, this is the name of Hiyami Yatate is actually a pseudonym. Okay. Um, for the staff at the Sunrise Animation Studio. Okay. So basically, it's a collection of several individuals and not just one person. All right. They have created several series, of course, including Cowboy Bebop, but they've also created Aurora Battle Divine, Aura, Battler Divine, Z Mine, Witch Hunter Robin, etc. Okay, so they do have other works that they've created as far gone as 1990 and as far recent as 2013. Okay, so they don't have a whole bunch of work. They look like they have maybe about 15, 20 works under their belts. So if you're interested, I definitely would recommend that you guys go onto their Wikipedia page and see if this is an organization that you want to support in your way by either watching their shows or buying their mangas. Excuse me, guys. Um, yes, Princess C is coming out with new pictures, and I personally like her older picture where you see her, but hey, it's her avatar, so she gets to pick and choose however she wants to look. So yeah, so that's it for tonight as far as this episode is concerned. Especially since, guys, of course, as you know, at 7:30, so in 45 minutes, I will be having a French lesson for you guys. So hopefully, I'll see you guys in 45 minutes at my other live stream. You guys are, of course, all welcome to join me for the French lesson. So I hope to see you guys there. So for now, I will say good night, and I hope to see you guys soon for the French lesson. If not, I'll see you guys in the streams. Yes, I know this is a short one. I kind of want to at least continue this series, but not necessarily abuse of your Sunday evening. So, good night, everybody. Try not to be too mean to each other tonight. Okay, guys? Try not to. All right. So, have a great night, guys, and I hope to see you soon.